All right, this podcast is over the elimination method. The elimination method is a second way to solve for systems of equations. So again, we are looking for where two lines intersect. All right, so this method has 4 steps. Step number 1, write the system that like terms are aligned. So what that means is we're looking to see that all of our x's, all of our y's, our equal signs, and our c values are all lined up. So letter A, step 1, is done for us. Now step 2, this method again is called the elimination method, so we are looking to eliminate one of the variables. With this method, what we are looking for is that we have the same number opposite sign with either our x's and y's. So what I mean, if you look at our x's on letter A, I have a negative 4x and a positive 4x. So if I were to follow the signs going down, it would equal 0. So I have negative 4 plus 4x gives me a 0x. Then I have negative 2y plus 8y gives me a positive 6y equals, again, I'm following my signs going down, I have negative 12 equals negative 24. So negative 12 minus 24 is negative 36. So I am left with 6y equals negative 36. Easily I can solve for y by dividing by 6. So y equals negative 6. Step 3, substitute the value of the variable into one of the original equations from above. So I'm going back to my original equations, and I'm going to substitute y equals negative 6 for one of the y. So I'm just going to choose the first one. I put negative 6 in for my y. So I'm left with negative 4x plus 12 equals negative 12. I'm going to solve for x. Negative 4x equals negative 24. Divide by negative 4, x equals 6. So write our problem as an ordered pair, 6, negative 6. We can go ahead and go back through and check. So step 4 is to actually check this in both of these equations. So I go ahead and pause that and check your answer. I'm going to move on. Okay, let's look at example B. Go through my steps again. Step 1 is to make sure that the equations are lined up. And if I look at my problems, they are not lined up. So I need to get them lined up. So I'm going to subtract 4x and actually bring it over to the left-hand side of my bottom equation. So I have 4x plus 8y equals 20, and negative 4x plus 2y equals negative 30. Okay, so now I do have them lined up. Step 2, I want to make sure that I have same number opposite signs for either my x's or y's. Look at my x's. I have a positive 4 and a negative 4, so they're going to cancel out. So I have 0x. 8 plus 2 gives me a 10y. 20 minus 30 gives me a negative 10. Solve for y, I can divide by 10. And y equals negative 1. Step 3, I'm going to substitute this back into one of my equations. So I'm actually going to substitute it into the first equation. It doesn't matter, either equation that you choose, you're going to get the same answer. So I have 4x minus 8 equals 20. Add 8, 4x equals 28. Divide by 4, and x equals 7. Last step is to write it as an ordered pair and to check your answer. So go ahead and pause it, check to make sure that it fits back into both of the original equations. Last problem, letter C. All right, letter C is a little bit different. If you notice, I do have them lined up like they should be, but if I were to follow the signs, I would not eliminate any variable. So with a problem like this, we need to multiply one or both of our equations by a number so that we can eliminate. So for example, all right, so if I wanted to eliminate my x's, I need to multiply the bottom equation by positive 4. Because I have a negative 4x on top, I want to get a positive 4x on bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply the entire bottom equation by 4. So it changes it to 4x minus 12y equals negative 24. So you take that 4 and you distribute it to all terms. The top equation is going to stay the same though. So now if you notice by doing that, I have eliminated my x's. Negative 4 plus 4 cancels out. So I'm left with negative 3y equals negative 15. Divide by negative 3, y equals 5. So same as before, we're going to substitute that back in. So negative 4x plus 45 equals 9. Subtract 45. Negative 4x equals negative 36. Divide by negative 4. X equals 9. My ordered pair is 9, 5. So again, the last step is to plug that back into the original equations and check. So go ahead and pause that. This is the end of the podcast for the elimination method.